If you like this channel and what I do here, please help to support my work by checking out one of my books, available from Lulu Publishing and Amazon.com. Thank you. Hi folks, Carl Jones here from Electric Media Madness. John, my Dan Ryan, how you doing, mate?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
We've just recorded a video for Star Trek Discovery, but now we've got something good to talk about.
Yeah.
Mandalorian. This show now is such a palate cleanser after Discovery. It really is.
Yeah,
it works perfectly. Yeah. you got bile in your mouth after Discovery. And you can have a nice, sweet drink of Mandalorian and just wash the taste away. But something amazing is going on with this show. Well, we will get into it. So this is chapter 14, episode 6. It's called The Tragedy. Yeah. Do you want me to quickly run through the plot?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do? Yeah. So we've got planet Tython. Mando and Baby Yoda arrive there. Grogu, as he's now known, arrived to the Jedi Temple there. Mando puts Baby Yoda on top of the Seeing Stone, and there's this noise in the sky. Mando looks up, and there's Slave One, Boba Fett's ship. Finally, they're delivering on the promise from that first episode. So it appears in the sky, he looks up, and then he looks back at Grogu. I know I want to call him Baby Yoda. And he's now surrounded by all this sort of like Force energy kind of thing. So he's making his connection with the Force, as Ahsoka said would probably happen when he got onto that stone. Mando's obviously a bit concerned about the arrival of Boba Fett. Well, he doesn't know it's Boba Fett at this point in time, but he wonders whether it's other bounty hunters or whatever. So he decides to go off and buy some time for Baby Yoda. And then he does come face to face with Boba Fett, played by Tamora Morrison, played brilliantly by Tamora Morrison. Absolutely fantastic in this episode, he is. He says that he wants his armor back. Mando had it from the first episode of this season. And then we see Fennec Shand, who's working with Boba. We thought she died in the previous season, but she's still alive. Bit of robotic work going on inside and out to keep her alive, but thanks to Boba Fett. And she's got Baby Yoda in the line of sight with a sniper rifle. And Mando says that the armor belongs to the Mandalorians, and Boba Fett wants to trade it for Mando and Baby Yoda's safety. Basically, that's what he says. We won't kill you. Well, there won't be any problem, just so long as you get the armor back. Then another ship appears in the sky overhead, and it lands, and a load of these stormtroopers come bailing out. And then we get this absolutely magnificent battle sequence. It seems to go on for... the episode was only just over half an hour long, but my God, it felt like a film. It really did.
It did.
You've got Boba Fett battling with them. The way he dispatches them is just incredible. It really is.
You really see how much of a badass he is in this.
Yeah, he's got like a Tuscan spear type thing that he uses for smashing their heads in and everything. It's very graphic and very... you don't see any blood or anything, but
you see big chunks of like helmet come off.
Yeah. You get the idea. Yeah. So they managed to kill most of the stormtroopers, but then another ship arrives and another load of stormtroopers come piling out. Whilst this is going on, because Boba Fett has now found himself down by the Razor Crest, and he chances this opportunity to sneak in there and get his armor back. Mando is now trying to get Baby Yoda out from the Force energy field thing that's blocking him, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get in there. The energy does actually end up fading, and Baby Yoda's like, With all these stormtroopers coming now, Mando teams up with Shand to dispatch the stormtroopers that are now pretty much getting towards the temple, aren't they? They're heading towards the temple. The fight isn't going well. When suddenly Boba Fett lands, he's got his armor on, he's got his jetpack on, he swings into action. Stormtroopers are retreating back to their ship because they think, no, we're not gonna beat him in this one, Such a badass, They retreat to the ship, and the ship takes off. Both of them take off actually, and then Boba Fett fires his rocket, and it hits the one, blows it up, and it crashes into the other one. And he says, "I was aiming for the other one," which is just brilliant. It really is. But one of the things that we didn't mention was that all of a sudden then there's this big blast laser beam sort of comes out of the sky, hits the Razor Crest, and just completely destroys it.
Razor
I
Crest.
mean, I didn't see that one coming.
No.
But yeah, and it turns out that this beam energy weapon thing came from Moff Gideon's Imperial cruiser that's in orbit. On the bridge, he activates those dark troopers that we saw. Was it the last episode? I think it was. Was it the one before?
The last other one, but it was one of those two. Anyway.
Yeah. It was right at the end of it. Yeah. So he activates those dark troopers. They jetpack out of the ship. I think they're robotic. It certainly looks that way, that they're robotic in some form. They rocket down to the temple, and they get Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Which was just such a shock.
It was. Yeah.
And they fly off with him. So at this point, Slave 1 is now in the air. Boba Fett's flying it. He's ready to engage them, but it's too risky because they realise that if they hit them, they're probably going to kill Baby Yoda as well.
Yeah.
So they get away, and then the cruiser jumps into hyperspace, and there you have it. You got Mando with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand on the planet. So they go off in Slave 1. Before that happens, actually, Mando finds the little ball that Yoda liked to play with, and the Beskar spear as well in the wreckage of the Razor Crest. And Boba Fett basically demonstrates that Jango Fett, his dad, was a bona fide Mandalorian foundling. So Mando allows him to keep the armor.
Yeah.
And Boba says that the debt of his armor's return cannot be paid until Baby Yoda is safe. So basically, they're in Mando's debt. So he goes with them on Slave 1. They head to, I think, is it Planet Dave Navarro? Is it? We're looking for Dave Navarro. Cara Dune again. Welcome return. Very, very brief, but and she's now like a marshal for the New Republic. And Mando tells her that he's putting this team together to rescue Baby Yoda, and he needs some help in locating recruits. Back on the cruiser, we see Baby Yoda is in his cell, and there's these troopers that are guarding it, and he's using his force powers, just like throwing the stormtroopers around and everything like that. So Gideon orders him stunned and shackled, and then he calls for Dr. Persia, who was the doctor who's going to be doing this big experiment, whatever it is, we don't know yet, on Baby Yoda, right? But this is interesting because we have a guest now in the episode, right? Before we get into all of our talking points, right? Last night, after I'd watched this episode of The Mandalorian, there was a little knock on my front door, right? So I opened the door and I looked down and look who escaped. He's come to hide with me. I've liberated him from Moff Gideon. Haven't I, Grogu? So he's here now, safe. So don't get worried about him. He's fine.
That is a relief.
Fine. He's
Thank
fine.
God.
He's all right. He's here, safe with me. I mean, he won't be by the next episode. He'll probably have cleared off, found something to play with. So I'll put you back in your little basket. You can go back to sleep for a little bit. You're nice and safe. Talking points. I've got a long list. But,
the whole episode. There's literally nothing wrong with this episode. Everything is just excellent.
I was a child of Star Wars. I wasn't quite old enough to see Star Wars in theatres when it first came out. I was only 3 years old, so I'm giving my age away now. But I was very much with Star Wars after that. I had shitloads of Star Wars toys, and when I was growing up, Star Wars was on all the time. The original trilogy films were on all the time. I know them inside out, the dialogue, the works. And although I feel very, very sad about what has happened to Star Wars over the years, and I find it very, very difficult to say anything good about Disney and what they've done with Star Wars. For multiple reasons, because as we mentioned before in my alternative knowledge research and looking into Disney and all that kind of thing, I do not want to say anything good about Disney. It's just a dangerous entity in every way, shape or form. That's even away from the entertainment side of things. But, and I really, really don't like saying this, but for the first time ever, and I'm sure it's just profit. I'm sure they don't care really. That it's just purely about getting back on the right track and making some money, getting the fans back on side. I think purely that is all it is. But you know what? It works because for the first time in a very, very long time, probably since Revenge of the Sith, there's probably going to be a lot of people out there that hate me saying this, but Revenge of the Sith is a fantastic film. It really is. It's up there for me. But since then, I've never had that feeling of something that recaptures that feeling I had as a child watching, particularly Empire Strikes Back and that, But this episode took me back. It was everything I could hope for. It finally feels like Star Wars again. And I just hope to God that Disney does not fuck it up. Please do not let Kathleen Kennedy or anybody else that's determined to insert their own crazy views on the world and into this again and destroy it. Let it be. I'm not going to forgive them for what they did with particularly The Last Jedi, but I can get on board. I can get on board with this for now. So yeah. So I just needed to say that because it's just
it does. It's so refreshing. Well, this season as a whole has been very refreshing to watch.
It has been,
but this episode was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Everything was just. There's so many talented people working on this.
Yeah.
Like everything just looked incredible. Like it sounded incredible. Just it felt incredible to watch.
What I basically just did was around about a dozen or so things that were real sort of highlight moments in it. So obviously Boba Fett turning up. So Boba Fett fighting them with the Tusken staff, fighting the stormtroopers, absolutely fantastic. Getting his armor back, getting that armor on. Bit podgy now, got a bit of a paunch on him now, Boba Fett. He's getting on a bit, but you could see that it was bulging in places, but seeing Slave One as well, magnificent ship, it's one of my favorite ships from the whole of Star Wars. The ineptitude of the stormtroopers, which is a consistent thing right through. They are absolutely crap, aren't they? They really are. They really are. Fennec rolling that rock down with all the stormtroopers running away from it, trying to, it's just brilliant. It's amusing as well, but it was just a proper breakneck speed, to everything. It just really caught your breath, didn't it? It's just I did on the edge of your seat, sort of thing. Baby Yoda throwing the stormtroopers about in the cell, loved it. Moff Gideon, I keep forgetting the name of the actor that plays him, but suitably evil and menacing. We've really got a bad guy to go boo at, Another glimpse of the Darksaber that Moff Gideon got, the Mandalorian weapon. The brief return of Cara Dune again. Can never get enough of Gina Carano and Cara Dune. It's great to see her, even though it's very, very brief. You mentioned special effects and all that, absolutely brilliant. The music again in this one was just really top notch, really was. It really complemented the action that was going on so well. I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. Tamora Morrison is absolutely fantastic as Boba Fett. He really is. Acting is top notch in this. The shock of the destruction of the Razor Crest, we mentioned that. I did not see that coming at all.
Not at all.
The brief glimpse of the Dark Troopers as well. They're only very, very briefly, but it was absolutely bang on. And the real shock, the surprise that they've actually got Baby Yoda. He's been protecting him all this time. All bets are off now. Where's it going to go?
Yeah.
And I really do hope that it goes to some great, interesting places, keeps up this standard. I really do. So that's my little list anyway. I mean, I don't anything that you wanted to add to that.
I mean, another thing, you got Boba Fett teaming up with Mando. Like,
that's
that as well. I'm like, this whole episode, I was just sat there with like a grin, just the whole time, like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, because say what you want, see what people want about Pedro Pascal and all that, but the character has become quite ironic, quite iconic, hasn't it? It really already, is a great character. So, it's up there with those iconic characters. And now to have another real sort of fan favorite, iconic character coming back, and like you say, fighting alongside him as well.
Yeah.
It's like a match made in heaven, wasn't it? Really, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's the perfect vehicle for. I have to wonder about the mooted Boba Fett film, whether maybe some of that's been transferred over from that to this.
It could.
Maybe even the aspects of that film was what started off Mandalorian. I don't know, but because they're not exactly forthcoming, are they, Disney, with
No, not at all.
how it all works behind the scenes? Because that way it would mean that they'd have somebody that you could point the finger at and blame when it all goes wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
But there's nobody to blame here because this is all good stuff.
Only praise for this one.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people bash on Dave Filoni. The person aside, what he's actually done for Star Wars, I've always been pretty damn impressed with. I love what he did on the Clone Wars animated series. I was never really with Rebels, but it still had some fantastic moments. And now this as well, it's can't fault it. So anything else you wanted to say before? I really can't say any more than that. But...
No, you've basically, it's been covered. Yeah, it's just.
I've stole this one, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've stole this one. Sorry, I really have. Yeah.
But I don't need to be saying what you were saying. So.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have given you more opportunity. But for you though, you started your love of Star Wars. You had those moments, didn't you, when you first saw them films? When you were knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yeah.
You absolutely loved them, didn't you? And you had them in constant repeat as well.
Oh, God,
yeah. Certainly you. You loved Return of the Jedi, didn't you? As well when you were young. And which I wasn't quite on board with Return of the Jedi. I still think it's a great film. Really is a great film. But again, you was quite a fan of the prequels as well, weren't you? So.
Well, my introduction, a fucking weird introduction, but my introduction, the first one that. Because I think I sat in your room and watched Revenge of the Sith, and that was my first Star Wars film.
Yeah, which is an odd one.
It's a very weird one, but it got me in.
For all intents and purposes, it's the end of the story, isn't it?
Basically,
in terms of how the films were released, yeah. But that feeling of watching this it's all the right buttons are there again. I really hope that they don't take their eye off the ball now. You got to live in hope, and especially after the dross that is Discovery. It's just so nice to be able to watch something that's... and another thing as well is, with all the bloody misery in the world at the moment as well, it's another added thing, even if it is just half an hour or so, just to watch something like that, just to take your mind away just for a little while and just complete escapism, Yeah. I've got a feeling I know what our scores are going to be. Shall we rate it?
Yes. For me, this is an easy 10.
Yeah, it's a 10 as well.
Nothing to fault at all in this.
No, there isn't. Not to be sort of like a nitpicker and look for things, but I do try to sort of keep a critical eye on these things and just think, is this all just like member berries and me just being a bit of a fanboy, or whatever? Am I being biased? Am I missing something? But no, I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Great stuff, really was. We've got 2 more to go, and it looks like this is going to be the big, based on the way they did last season, 2-part finale. Yeah. It looks like that's what we've got left.
It'll be hard to beat this one, but I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where they go. It's going to be a tough act to follow, this one is,
It is, yeah.
So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll just say thank you so much for joining us for this video. And Dan and I will see you for the next Mandalorian next week. Take care for now.
Goodbye.